All right, everybody, welcome to Dat Fury Radio. I'm Howie Howard from Mr. Furious Records. Today we're pressing play on a new release on my label from an artist called Aspect Deletion. This is a friend of mine from a gear forum online, and I'm going to be kind of circumscribed about what I say about the person. I'm going to focus on the music. This artist is ending this project and has asked me to handle this final release as part of that ending and that wind down for this project. And I'm going to try and honor that as best as I can. So on this gear forum, in one of the threads where we're posting our music and sharing what we've done, I found the previous Aspect Deletion albums Isolation and Coercion, which I have nothing to do with. I found them as a fan and as a listener. I love them to this day. I've listened to them tons and tons. And these are a couple albums that I have loved for years. And so many years passed with a casual friendship with the artist just online. I've never met them in person. And really enjoying this music that they had made. And how our artistic paths start to intertwine a little closer. I've looked up what source materials I can here. So on June 8, 2022, so that's a little more than 2 years ago as I record here, the artist direct messaged me referring to an ongoing thread on the forum that I can't find anymore, but they were referring to this thread probably about maybe COVID related collaborations and sending files back and forth and that kind of thing. So that started an open conversation between this person and I about synthesizers and our artistic processes for recording music and art in general and kind of everything. And also at this time, I had put together a small set of equipment that I call the mini rig. And that is based around a Korg Monotribe groove box that I've made some modifications to, and a Korg Volca bass synthesizer, and a drone synthesizer and separate signal router all in one box that I had built. That's based on, what do they call that thing? It's based on a really well-known glitchy synth design. I will link to it. I'm blanking on what this circuit is called, but it's well known in DIY synth community, and some guitar pedals, effects pedals. So we had discussed. I still want to make an album with that set of gear someday. But what we discussed is that I would do a jam, and just have some fun and do some different parts, and then the artist would I would send the stems and kind of the individual tracks from all these different sound sources to them, and they would select pieces to use in their granular synthesis. Granular synthesis is a way of, or almost a school of thought of taking very, very short snippets of audio. I mean, we're talking milliseconds or less. Sometimes just a few cycles of a waveform, and using that as sound generators or oscillators. So it's closely related in some ways to wavetable synthesis. So this is 2 years ago, summer 2022. Many months pass, and out of the blue, I'd almost kind of forgotten about this, had no expectations. Out of the blue, I got an email with the finished record and the story behind it, including why this project is ending, which I'm not going to go in depth on, other than to say that at the end of the album here, I will, spoiler alert, I will tell you it ends abruptly. And that is entirely intentional. Certainly for the album, perhaps also for the project itself. You won't, and I didn't recognize any of the material that I initially created. I feel the artist feels strongly that I deserve some credit as the person who generated the source material for this. I kind of feel differently. That is true, but in the process of doing granular synthesis, you zoom in so far on whatever sound you're working with. It basically becomes unrecognizable. I have no idea which sound sources or parts of the jam that I did ended up in this final record. So technically I did, generate the source material, but beyond that point, I really had no involvement in the creation of the record, and I personally view it almost entirely, 99% or more, as the work of Aspect Deletion. On the mastering, I did master the record because it's for the most part, a drone record. There's not a lot to do with music this abstract. It's already plenty loud. I did employ a couple of tricks that I want to describe. First of all, I did use Dan Worrell's center channel delay trick to create some depth, and I will link to his excellent video on that subject. I really love that trick a lot. A little goes a long way, and I tend to use even less than he does, but it's a really great trick for creating space, especially if you're listening on headphones, creating space in the mix without resorting to any kind of weird stereo widening stuff, which often sounds very fake to me, especially in the mastering part of the process. Using it on individual sounds in a mix, I'm more comfortable with, but I don't really do any stereo widening in mastering. And other than that, I used a Pultec style EQ plugin from the developer Analog Obsession. I loved that developer. I've supported them on Patreon from time to time, and they're very much worth checking into, whether you're able to support them or not. They offer all the work that they do for free, and it is excellent work. I rely on a lot of those plugins. The Pultec style EQ, it's called Rare SE, I believe. I'll try to link to that as well. I really enjoy that. So that's a bit about the artistic process, the background, what this album is, and how it came to be. And I think with all that said, cheers to Aspect Deletion, one of my favorite artists in this drone ambient type of genre. And I hope you enjoy Aspect Deletion's Depletion on Dat Fury Radio. The album's available on Bandcamp or all your major streaming platforms. Enjoy.